Hi friends, welcome to Empire XP, Networking Made Simple. My name is Kishore and today we are going to start the Lab 3 following the last Lab 2 where we have tried bringing up the home Wi-Fi and we have connected two computers and we tried reaching each other and it was working successful. We have configured a Wi-Fi SSID, which is the signal we receive in our computers, in our phones. A similar way, when we think about little larger network, consider a small hospital with multiple floors. On your left side, you have three floors, first, second, and third floor, and you have the different people coming on each floor. For example, the ground floor is made for the patients who are like guests for the hospital. Even hospital want to provide them kind of Wi-Fi SSID, so the patients also can connect to their SSID and they can also connect to the internet. The second floor is made for the management. Hospital management people work for billing or for accounting or the management related to the patients and many other aspects. So the second floor, consider it's made for the management users who can come and connect to their machines, their laptop, their phone, everything. Similarly, the third floor is considered, it is specifically made for the doctors, considering there are a lot of activities with respect to doctors happens. Maybe it's a conference related work, maybe it is some kind of operations task or anything where doctors specifically require their network. So how I'm going to achieve, for example, the doctors get their network on third floor while they go to uh, the second floor or third floor, they will not be connecting to the management network or the guest network, or consider the guest is on the first floor and they connect to the guest Wi-Fi. When they go to the second floor or third floor, they'll not be able to get the SSID called guest and they'll not be connecting to the hospital network. There's a kind of security precaution or the requirement generally every network design will have. So how I'm going to achieve that is something we are going to discuss today. So on the right side of this presentation, there are some important components what I'm going to talk now. So I added this as a hub room or a network room for the hospital where you will have a switch. I will take a L3 switch and a WLC, which is a LAN controller. I will talk about it. And there is a DHCP server. Now, let's understand why I have considered the WLC, which is a wireless LAN controller. In our previous lab, that home network, we configured the individual home routers, and that configuration was manual by logging into that specific router. But in a bigger organizations, like for example, now we expanded from a single home to a hospital network where we have three APs. Imagine the same hospital is very big. It's obvious the hospitals are big in their space, their coverage is big.
So with the bigger coverage, it is the number of APs and the floor will also increase. And with the increasing number of APs, the administrative task for the administrator will be immense. And to reduce that administrative effort, the WLC will take the key role. What WLC does, it allows us to do the configurations from this centralized device, and that configuration can be pushed from this single device to all that end APs, which is access points, like the SSID configurations and the password, who can join that SSID, etc. With that, what happens? The administrative effort of an engineer reduce.
Now, another thing like DHCP server, I considered by adding the DHCP server, this server can go and release the IP address for all the APs. The same DHCP server is responsible to give IPs to the end equipment, such as your laptop or phone or anything else. So with that, let's get into the next page where I'm going to show this is the actual the picture taken out from the simulator. So you can see this. This is what we are trying to achieve. The same thing like hub room on the right side. On the left side, we have the different floors. Probably when we do this, you can see that all the traffic will flow and all that. We'll try to do that at the end of the lab once we finish it. So that will be our agenda of this lab 3. So with that, let's jump into the Cisco Packet Tracer. So I have opened the Cisco Packet Tracer and created a small templatized way so that we can easily differentiate. This is my hospital area and this right side is my hub network. So let me put all the different components what we discussed. I will add the L3 switch first. So adding L3 switch speeds up our work. If you take any L2 switch, then I'll tell you what will be the addition work you have to do. For example, if you add some APs here, access point, which is my routers on individual floors, let me click on this. You click on the lightweight access points. These are the one which take the configurations from the centralized WLC. I'm going to add that in individual floors. Each floor one AP. Now, if you just click on this AP, you will see there is no power supply is added on. Either you can add the power supply by bringing it here, input here, just get the power supply, and then connect an L2 switch, or without a power supply, if this L3 switch is having the inline power, that means the port what you see here on this L3 switch, pass Ethernet 0/1 to 24, all are having the inline power that can power up the lightweight access point. They don't need a separate adapter. For example, in this case, I just shown that to add the adapter, but without adding the adapter also, just by adding the cable itself, this APs will get powered up. Let me take a straight through cable, connect a first interface with the first AP, and see the APs will show green in a minute. See it is done. So in our case, I have considered the L3 switch and the combination of all the APs without adapter. If you want, you can choose the L2 with adapters adding to individual lightweight access points. So that is also possible. So let me include the next important device here, which is my wireless LAN controller. Let me click here, come to WLC, and let me add 3504, the WLC, which is my wireless LAN controller, where we are going to do the maximum configuration, and the configuration will be pushed to individual APs, and then the users will receive those SSIDs. So let me connect a cable. Let me connect the cable, a straight through cable from the gig interface 01 to gig interface 1, and make the pass forward, then take a management device. Let me take the management PC. This is using this, we are going to do all the configurations on the WLC. Let me add a cable again, a cable from the add anything from 02 and connect it to fast Ethernet. Let me add one more component, which is a server, where the DSCP IPs, the IPs, dynamic IP will be released for the end equipments and all these access points. Before that, let me put the cable from the server to the core switch, not to this. I would prefer adding it to password 04. So now everything is connected. Let's click on fast forward. We're done. So let's do the configuration. First thing we will do is a manual addition of static IP, what I'm going to use in WLC. So let me click on configuration, change the name, display name to WLC 01, and on the management side of it, let me change this IP to, okay, I'll give same 192.168.1.10 is the IP address of this uh, wireless LAN controller, with the subnet mask as 255.255.255.0 and default gateway as 192.168.1.1, and let the DNS also be the same. And probably for now, remember this WLC IP as .10 and close this. Let's get into the PC, which will be our management PC. I will change it as a management PC and add a static IP for this. How to add static IP? Click on the setting and you see there is a static default gateway it is asking. I'll add the default gateway, which is 192.168.1.1, which we did at the other side. And the DNS server is also the same, .1. And then fast Ethernet, let's add a static IP for the fast Ethernet under the IP config. Add the IP of the spacey as 15, and the subnet mask has to be same as 255, 255, 255, and 0. Probably this is what is enough for this to connect with the WLC and do the configuration. Apart from that, let me get my DHCP ready. First thing I will do is let me add the IP address for this DHCP server. So on the configuration, let me get into the interface. Let me add the default gateway again as same as 1 for the DHCP, and the DNS server IP also 92.168.1.1. Apart from that, probably we need to add the interface IP as well, which is my fast Ethernet interface, and I will add the IP of the DHCP server as .5. And the subnet mask will automatically populate here based on the address is already used in the network. It says used. Probably I use this somewhere else, so I may have to use something else here. Let me use .25 as my DHCP server. Subnet mask is 0, and I believe this is fine. Now come to the service. Under the service, you have different service options under the server. We will go click on DHCP, which is our requirement, and click the on option here. And you know what is the pool? This pool, I can write it as hospital network. And let me put the gateway as same as we configured in most of our cases as 192.168.1.1, and the DNS server also will put the same as 192.168.1.1. Here, the start IP address shows as 192.168.1.0, but I will prefer to take 50. The first IP will be 50, which is allowed to the equipments dynamically, and the subnet mask remains same 255, 255, 255, 0. I will allow maximum 50 users to connect, and probably the WLC IP For you guys remember, I have set this as .10, 192.168.1.10, and I will save it. As we're done with the DHCP configurations, you can see now the IP, the first IP which the AP has received is, you can see that if you read this properly, the pop-up which has come, let's talk about the AP, and it has the model number, then the gigabit interface IP as .50, 192.168.1.50. So the first IP which we said that DHCP should release. The second device should also get an IP addressing. It has also got the IP as 1.51, and the third device got an IP as 192.168.1.52. So with that, these APs already got the dynamic IP address, but it does not have any SSID configured yet. You can see that there is no SSID showing here as of now, but as we configure the WLC with the right SSID combinations and push it to the lightweight access points, all these access points, automatically those SSID will be appearing here, and users can connect with respect to SSID based on what they want to connect to. So from here, let me jump to the configurations on how I'm going to get the access to the WLC. Let's get into the WLC access from the management PC, get into the desktop, click on web browser. Here you have to type the IP address of your WLC, which we have set 192.168.1.10, and go. You have to give some time before it brings the page of WLC GUI. I would say it took almost 3 to 4 minutes. So be patient when you try to browse this WLC web page. Now let me create my credentials to get into the access of WLC. The credentials, it is up to you, like anything you set it for any kind of web access, please set yourself for your convenience. I will set it as an admin, as the username, and password. Here the password, they ask to keep at least the 8 character with combination of small letter, capital letter, and the number. So I will set accordingly. Now, once you come here, this is the first page which appears. Put the WLC name as I can write. It is our infrastructures WLC. I'll write infra NXT, and WLC01 is the name of the WLC, and do not touch anything else here. And then come to the management. You know the IP address of my device, which is .10 192.168.1.10. The subnet mask is 255.255.255.0, and the default gateway as .1, which we set. Management VLAN ID, do not touch anything here. Go next, and it is asking us to create the first SSID, which it want to push it to all the APs. The moment I configure this here, for example, I'll write this is the SSID as infra NXT SSID, and let me put the passphrase as ABCD 1 2 3 4, capital ABCD 1 2 3 4, and next. Virtual IP address, this is nothing, you just have to move on, and this is the final set. It is asking that check and confirm to apply the configuration on the WLC. So here it says that this is my system name, what I set, infra NXT WLC, the the country belongs to India, the current time, and the management IP address as we set as .10, the subnet mask, and the gateway. And the first SSID which is created is InfraNXT with the password what we have set. Now I say apply, and after say apply, it takes another 10 minutes. So I will pause my video before I get into the page. You can see still this is saving the configuration. So I will prefer to close this web page and come to the command prompt and check whether the reachability from the machine to the WLC is available. The reachability test is ping, and 192.168.1.10 is the IP address of WLC. I have pinged it and I see that still the WLC is booting up because it do not have, okay, now it has got the reachability. So let me close this, and from the management PC, again, let me take the web browser and type the IP address as 192.168.1.10 and go. Say server reset connection. That is because we have used HTTP. Once we make it HTTPS, probably it will prompt you. Yes. Let me put the credentials, what we set. The name was admin, and the password which we selected with the combination of capital letter, small letter, and the numeric. So do not forget the password, otherwise you'll not be able to log in. Again, you have to follow the step from the beginning. So yeah, this is how it will appear. Now the moment it appears here, you can just click on the wireless. This shows the APs what it has registered to. So wait for some time, it is slow. You can see all the different access points what we configured, management, doctors AP, and the lightweight access point 03. I will minimize to show it. Here, the last floor, which is the first floor, I did not set the name of AP, so it's showing as it is with the IP address, and the doctors floor, which is my top floor, is showing here, and the management, which is in the second floor, is showing here. So all the three APs are part of this WLC. And now I'll just hop over my mouse to the APs individually. Earlier, you never had any SSID, but now you can see carefully the APs are showing there is a WLAN called InfraNXT on the AP. It is nothing but it can actually send the signals to the end users to connect to this particular network. For example, let me bring one laptop here on the one of the guest area. Consider this is my laptop on the guest. Here also you see that my SSID is there. So let me quickly get this ready for getting the wireless connection. So I have to switch off this laptop first and empty this area and put the wireless module, and then I will power on. It turned green. Now I will get into the configuration. This is already DHCP. Get into wireless, and what was the name of the SSID? It was Infra NXT, and the name of the SSID we have created. So we have to give the passphrase, which is ABCD1234. The moment I set this and close it, it should try to connect to the nearest AP. So now there are two important things to observe here. First of all, how did this AP's access point receive this SSID configurations? It received from the centralized controller. We only set the centralized controller with the SSID, which is the first SSID, and you have seen that all these APs are getting the Infra NXT as a WLAN. And Another important thing to observe, this laptop, though I'm in the first floor, it has gone and connected to the second floor access point. It is because all these access points have got the same WLAN and there is no restriction for laptop to connect to any of the floors. So this laptop is connecting to anywhere it wants. So how I'm going to correct it? Let's do that. Another important thing is like how is this access points are communicating to the WLC. For that there is a concept called uh, cap WAP, which is the very important thing. It is the kind of tunnel which is between the APs to the controller, and over the tunnel the entire communication happens. So whatever the configurations we set in WLC, uh, on that cap web tunnel, the information is getting sent from the WLCs to the APs, and APs gets all those informations and save that configurations to populate to the end users. So let's jump into the WLC configurations. I will go to WLC, and what I will do, the first thing is I will create for each floor what kind of SSID I should send. Here in controller we called SSID as WLAN. Under the WLAN we already have infra and XT created, but I wanted to create doctors as a one SSID, management as another SSID, and guest as a third SSID. Three SSID we will create, and infra and XT will be available in all the three floors, which will be our hospital name. Consider. Let's create three SSIDs. How to create that? Just click on this, create, and go. Create new and go. It is slower, so have patience. Put the profile name as consider. I'm making it for doctors. Put doctor, and the SSID name as doctor, and I will put initially for infra NXT as the name, and then doctor, and apply. Wait for some time. Yeah, so the new page appeared. Let me add the other configuration. The first thing we have to make this enable, and next click on the security, click on layer 2, and select here the WPA plus WPA2. Next you have to click on WPA2 policy, and here on the PSK, which is pre-shared key, you have to come here and put the password. I will put the same password, ABCD1234. So see, my point is to make your life easy, I just put the same password here, but it should be always different for each SSID so that guest user should not know the password of the other. I apply it here, and by that, the moment I apply, the configuration is getting pushed to all the access point. So now, the moment I created a new WLAN, you can see here when I come to the WLAN now again, if I click here, you can see doctor as an SSID. Now, if I hop over my mouse to this access point, by bringing it down, let me bring it here and see there's two WLANs you can see. It is infra, NXT, and doctor. Now here in second AP also you can see the two WLANs. Similarly on the third AP also you can see all the two. But how I'm going to limit this, we'll discuss that. Before that, let me create individual SSIDs for each floor. Let me go back again to the WLC. Let me create the new one called management, and let's wait for some time. It is slow. Create profile called MGMT for management, again MGMT, and apply. It will open the new page. Follow the same step what we did for the first one for the doctors. Now I have created all the three individual SSID. Here in the controller we call it WLAN for individual floor, doctors floor, which will be having the infra and XT doctor. For the management floor, it will be infra and XT management, and the last or the first floor will have the guest SSID, which will be infra and XT guest. So as of now, the first very important thing you guys have to remember is for any SSID, when you create the moment you create the SSID, you have to get that enabled. Yeah, this particular checkbox has to be enabled. You must check this, otherwise SSIDs will not work. And then everywhere it is same. We consider the same interface. I will not go with the different interface options now because the limitation of time. Click on the security and you just make sure that we select the same options, WPA plus, WPA2, and under this parameters, everything is selected as I mentioned in the previous one. And I will go back and to the APs. I will show it now on the access points. Let's see, all the three access points must show all the three different SSID. Now you can see that I see infra NXT, which was the first one created, and apart from that I see only doctor and guest. Why not management? Let me go check that by checking on the management side of it. Let me go to the controller and click on the management SSID, and let me check if that management SSID has any changes. So this is what exactly I was telling. If you just click on this enable, then only that SSID will be populated to the access points. And if I say apply, then only this configuration will be pushed to the access point from the controller. So once it applies, it will change the color, and wait for some time. It will reset all the APs. And if I hop over my mouse, you can see that the management WLAN is appearing now in all the APs. So our initial goal was to create all different SSID, and which we have created. But now the second important goal is I don't want the first floor AP to populate the management and doctors SSID. How do I restrict it? So that is possible from the WLAN. I'll show you from where we can control that. If you click on WLAN and you have called AP group, the moment AP group opens, you can see there is a default group created. So under the default group, if I click here, you can see WLANs. All the four WLANs what we created under the controller are mapped to default. It is the nature of the controller. By default, it will be mapped to the default controller access group, AP group, and all APs will be part of the same default group. So what we can do, we can create a separate AP group for each floor, and we will map the APs and corresponding WLAN. I will click on the AP group, click on the add group, click on the doctor's floor. So I'll put it as, let's make it as third floor. And description is for doctors. Add it, wait for some time, make the configuration changes on the AP group. It will allow us to map the AP as well as the SSID or the WLAN. Yeah, so the moment the page opens, the first thing we have to do is click on the WLAN and add new here. So you can see that InfraNXT is default one which we did. I want to keep InfraNXT as a common for all the group. I'll add it. Let's add it. Yeah, another one. You can see it's already added. Let's add another. It is because it is a third floor one. What is the third floor one? It is for the doctors. Let me add that. You come to the WLAN, you can see it here. Now, the two SSIDs, which is mapped under the third floor AP group. Then what AP I should map it? That is also very important. Come to AP and under the APs, we want to make sure the doctor's AP, which is third floor AP, should be mapped under the AP group. And it's just giving a warning that whenever you do that, the AP will be like booted because it has to reset the configuration and keep only those new SSIDs what it is asking for. So I have said yes. So it is pushing the configurations. And if I just minimize this and take my mouse towards the doctor's AP, you can see that initially when we looked at all the four WLANs were mapped under the same AP, but now you see only the two AP which we called under the new AP group is showing here. But while other APs will still show that all the four WLANs are appearing. So I'm again going to do the same thing like how we did it for the third floor access point group. Let me do that same thing for the second floor and first floor. So I'll again go back to the WLC configurations and let me add two more access point groups. You add a group. Let's add the next group, which is the second floor. And name as management. And we should not give a space in between, otherwise it will not allow. That was the error. And now click on the second floor and do the modification as we did for the third floor, calling the right WLAN combination and the AP combination. So if I come here, you can see that this is my second floor. Under the second floor, we should only have the second floor AP and the management WLAN. So I'm going to do that here. So under the second floor AP group, I'm going to click on the WLAN. I'm going to add InfraNXT as one common for all, and the next one is like add new, where doctors was part of a different floor. This is the floor for the management. I'll add this. So under the WLAN SSID, you have option to click on this down arrow and you have to choose the right combination of SSID. So in every floor, we will have InfraNXT is common. That is, I'll again show you the WLAN InfraNXT will be common in every floor, but this is very specific, which is InfraNXT management, which will be specific to the management people only to connect with. Now, under the APs, we have done the SSID. Now AP, correct AP has to be chosen here. So click on the management AP02 and add AP. By doing that, this AP will be part of that particular AP group. And in the AP group, we have defined only these SSID has to be populated, and that is why the moment I come here, you can see it is limiting only to the two SSID, which is management and infra NXT. Similarly, I will limit this one with the guest and infra NXT SSID. How I'm going to do that? Again, I will take it to the same WLC. We'll go and create the new access point group, AP group, and we'll follow the same steps. Add group, first floor, name as guest, and add. Yeah, I can see the first floor here. Click on that. We'll again do the same thing, mapping the right SSID and the access point. Yeah, the page is open. Click on WLAN, add the new. Here, InfraNXT by default it comes. If you click here, InfraNXT, you want it on first floor or not? Consider I don't want InfraNXT on my first floor. We want the combination of the doctors and the combination of guest in the first floor. So let this add. We'll add the guest again because it's my first floor, primarily made for the guest. Please click on the next one. The doctor is added, but this is primarily the first floor. I want to make sure that adding the guest one here. So guest as the next, which I'm going to add, and done. You can see under the WLAN, the two SSID, you can see it, guest and doctors in the first floor, and the AP we have to choose as AP's guest 03, add under the access group. Now the AP will reset, but if you come down and you just hop over your mouse, your combination is doctor and infra NXT guest. So here, yes, now you can see that laptop is connecting to the floor where you have the infra NXT available, but it cannot connect here because this laptop was configured with infra NXT SSID. And since this AP do not have infra NXT SSID, it cannot connect it anymore. So let me add few of the devices. Consider like I have some guest users coming here, and this laptop belongs to the InfraNXT, one of the administrative guy, and he's sitting here on the second floor. And let me add a guest. Consider a PC or a laptop user. Let me come here. He's a doctor, and he's sitting on the third floor. We want to connect to the InfraNXT doctor as the SSID. Before that, I will turn off, empty this module, add the right module combination to connect to the SSID, turn on this, and I'll go to the configuration, click on the wireless, and click on the SSID as InfraNXT hyphen, is it hyphen or underscore? I don't recall. Let me just check that. Just check it here. This look it correctly. The name is underscore doctor. So I have to type it correctly. Otherwise, it will not connect. Okay. And then the password is WPA2, and you have to give the password as you set. And done. Similarly, while it takes time to connect to the respective SSID, I will take some of the guest users and add some some of the handset, maybe a mobile phone or something you can consider, and bring it here and do the same thing. Just put the right configuration on WLC, click on the wireless setting. Now under this, click on the wireless setting, make the change here as the infra NXT underscore guest and the password, whatever you have set, ABCD1234, and done. So as you can see that all the respective floor devices are connecting to respective APs. The laptop, which is from the doctor's floor, is connecting to the doctor's SSID, and the management floor connecting to the management SSID, and the guest floor device, which is considered the patient device. Patient want to connect it to the internet, and he's connecting to one of the SSID from the hospital, and that is from the first floor, and he connected to the respective first floor. You can see that we have done the restriction with respect to the SID populations on the respective floor APs. Now the first floor APs only populates the two WLANs, which is doctors and guest. Now the current smartphone, what you see, it's connected to the guest because it's a guest user. And again, on the second floor, it is restricted the WLAN only to the infra NXT and management, and the first one is restricted to doctors and infra NXT. So with that, you want to do a quick simulator, you can just click on the real-time simulation thing, just click on it and see the packet flow right from the switch to all the APs and the end equipments. It is just switching, all the packets are, and you can see that. Apart from that, you want to see the reachability from the one laptop to the other laptop or the smartphone. You can check that they are in different floor connected to different APs. Let's see what is my IP address. The IP address of this machine is config, and you can see my self IP is 56. The other end IP of this phone is, let me check here, the IP of this phone is 61. Now I can just come here and ping the IP 61, which is the guest user IP address. Ping 192.168.1.61, and let me stop here and then go to the real time, check what is the IP address of this device. The IP address is 61, and come again on the device, click on command, check the IP address reachability. Now you see that there is a reachability because there was already a simulator was running. It did not allow it to reach to the destination. By that, what we have proved that is devices can reach to individual floors. Ideally, that is not the case. They should access only the internet, but we are not showing that as our case. Here, the IPs are received from the DHCP. These individual APs got the WLAN or the SSID configurations from the centralized WLC, and how we did the WLC configurations, different AP groups, all that we learned today. So with that, I want to conclude this session. And
If you found this video helpful, subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to stay tuned for more such videos. I love hearing from you. Leave a comment and I will do my best to respond. Thank you.